Is he on his way?
Yes.
Okay. Then, un momento, por favor.
Okay, thank you.
Muchas gracias. Yes, thank you.
What's up, court nerds? Time to get served. You are in the 36th district. You are in the 36th district. You are in the 36th district. So sit down, be quiet, don't roll your eyes, sit up straight, and get ready for this neighborly title bout. Disputes between neighbors can get out of hand. There are videos all over the internet showing squabbling folks going at it in a variety of ways. However, today, Judge Bryant has the case of Heather Merriweather versus her elderly neighbor, Miss Griffin, who I might add has been showing signs of dementia. According to the testimonies of both parties, there has been issues with dogs, hoses, cars, fences, and now a broom. According to Miss Merriweather, the co-defendant, her sister, and Miss Griffin started fighting over a water hose and some tied-up pups, causing Heather to run out and attack Miss Griffin, who is nearly 30 years older than the sisters, with a broom, striking her on the head repeatedly. This situation was the tip of the iceberg for these feuding families and caused physical and psychological damage, according to Miss Griffin. Judge Bryant addresses the fact that there should have been elder abuse in this case, which the prosecutor's office declined to charge the sisters with at this time. So without further ado, let's get this case rolling, and you be the judge by letting us know in the comments if Judge Bryant got this one right. Don't forget to like and subscribe and set your notifications to all, and never miss these squabbling neighborly feuds. I'm Time, and you have been served. Let's roll, nerds.
This is case number 234508201, the people of the state of Michigan versus Heather Merriweather. The defendant is charged with 1 count of assault or assault and battery. Today is the date set for sentencing. Appearances, please.
For the record, Your Honor, Christina Ritter on behalf of the people. From my understanding, the complainant witness is in person this morning. I don't see her, but if she could stand, oh, there she is, Judge. Ms. Griffin, can you state your name nice and loud for the record, please?
Betty Ann Griffin.
Ms. Stevenson, come on.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Heather Merriweather. Ms. Merriweather, ma'am, please unmute and say your full name.
Heather Merriweather.
What's your middle name, Ms. Merriweather?
Heather Marie Merriweather. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Today is the date set for sentencing. The court has had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report. And with respect to the report, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections on behalf of the people?
Judge, the people had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report. I don't see any additions, deletions, or corrections on our end.
On behalf of Ms. Merriweather, Your Honor, we've had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report, and we do offer the following correction. Well, actually, Your Honor, at this time, we have no additions, corrections, or deletions, and Ms. Merriweather does stand ready for sentencing.
With respect to sentencing, anything on behalf of the people?
So, Your Honor, there was a plea agreement for a recommendation of a term of probation, 24 weeks of anger management, no contact with the complainant witness, Ms. Betty Griffin, and restitution for any medical out-of-pocket expenses that Ms. Griffin may have incurred in result of this incident. And on page 4, there is a victim statement from Ms. Griffin. And she is in person today, Judge, so I would just defer to Ms. Griffin if she would like to make a victim impact statement orally to the court. However, I don't see any restitution information, and I'm looking through my notes, Judge, and we didn't receive any restitution information, so I would defer to Ms. Griffin if there is any medical expenses that she has that could be tendered to the people so that we could see if it qualifies for any restitution. And at this time, Judge, I would turn it over to Ms. Griffin if she would like to make her victim impact statement to the court at this time.
Ms. Griffin, did you want to make a statement to the court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Come up to the podium, please. Ms. Griffin? Ms. Griffin, also, I'm in the building. Did you want me to come downstairs so that you could talk to me in person, or are you okay looking at the screen? I am in the building.
I'm okay looking at the screen, Judge.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Griffin.
Your Honor, on that day, I was physically and psychological and emotional stressed. I had to stay away from my home for 2 months because I was fearful to stay in my home. I asked the court to send to them her and her sister the full extent of the court. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Anything further on behalf of the people?
Nothing further at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Miss. I'm sorry. Miss Griffin, you can actually have a seat. You can go back and have a seat on the front row. Thank you. Okay. On behalf of the defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. So in the police description of the offense, the information contained there is consistent with that which is in the police report in terms of the location to which the police responded. But the police responded, actually, according to my client, they didn't go to 5978, the street name that's mentioned in that report. They went to 5960. And that's important because my client wants the court to know that she and her co-defendant are the parties that actually called the police out to the location. So unfortunately, there has been some acrimony between these neighbors. There have been prior police reports, Your Honor, and there have been prior allegations of property damage by the complaining witness. Those complaints have been made to the police, Your Honor. And on the date in question, I think that the report indicated that this particular incident stemmed from the complainant allowing her pets to enter upon the property of the defendants. And my client's position is that is absolutely incorrect, that the complainant actually had two animals at least tied to the defendant's fence. And those animals were in distress. Is it the defendant's
fence, or is it the
yes?
Is it the common fence between the two properties?
It's on the property of the defendant, so it's the defendant's fence.
Is that what the law says? But let's go ahead.
Okay, so which is what caused my client, and I can't speak to the co-defendant, they have a different sentencing date coming up, which was what caused my client to go outside and come into contact with the complaining witness in the first place. So I am well versed in the law of self-defense and all that. And so having conferred with Ms. Merriweather, she having had the opportunity to get an understanding of what self-defense is and what self-defense is not, she did offer the court a plea of guilty and accepts responsibility for her actions. But we don't want the court left with the impression that that my client left their house and took a broom to this person who is over 20 years older than her, that's not the way the incident happened.
Well, Ms. Stevenson, is your client, if your client is not going to address me, I don't know, but maybe you should, because this is the first time that I've ever requested the full police investigators report so that I can try to figure out what's going on and why an individual who is 20 years younger than a person would take a broom to their head. So at this point, somebody better tell me some more information or it's not going to be looking so good.
May I speak?
Not yet. No, ma'am. Ms. Stevenson?
As we anticipated, Your Honor. So that is the exact reason I'm getting a little bit more involved in the incident itself than I normally would at sentencing. So my client, the complaining witness and the co-defendant, who's not yet been sentenced, were engaged in a physical altercation. And quite frankly, Your Honor, I think it's in the police report. That altercation started by the co-defendant spraying water on the complaining witness, which is what causes. So my client goes outside to try to come to the aid of her sister when a fight ensues between the complainant and the co-defendant. And because the co-defendant is actually the person who started that altercation, we believe that a self-defense claim or a defense of others claim would fail.
And I'm so sorry, Ms. Stevenson, I hate to interrupt. I do apologize to the court, but Judge, I would just object to Ms. Stevenson getting into the facts involving the co-defendant, because actually I don't even think that co-defendant has been set for sentencing. I don't think they took a plea.
What? But that don't have nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Okay. So for those reasons and some others, we decided that the best, the most lawful option would be to go ahead and offer the court a plea of guilty. But Ms. Meriwether did not leave her home. She didn't come outside of the house even to aid her sister armed with a weapon. It is her position that at the time of the incident, during another altercation, that the complaining witness lunged at her, and that's when Ms. Meriwether struck the broom. Is that okay? Absolutely not. It isn't. And that's why Ms. Meriwether did offer the court a plea of guilty. But we don't want she indicates that Ms. Meriwether indicates that after she struck the complaining witness, that the complaining witness actually did come at her. The two of them did engage in a physical altercation, wherein Ms. Meriwether was on the ground. Ms. Meriwether denies, any biting or anything like that. So there is volatility between these parties. Ms. Meriwether's response was inappropriate. She is here to take responsibility for her actions. We're not going to object to, actually, it was the plea agreement, an extended period of anger management. I did want to just point out that in the pre-sentence investigation report, I think in the evaluation section, it indicated that Ms. Meriwether appeared to show a lack of remorse. And I wanted to get under that in preparing for sentencing today. And her expression to me was that she is very remorseful. She'll explain that to the court. But her affect may be dulled a little bit by the fact that this has just been an ongoing problem with this neighbor, that it's just been so much back and forth. And she is very, very, very frustrated with the situation. And for that, the longer anger management course probably is in order. So we just don't want the court left with the impression that my client kind of leaves out of the house and starts swinging at this woman with a broom and goes upside her head or anything like that, because the facts just are more complicated than that. The end result which is why we chose to offer the court a plea of guilty rather than proceeding to trial, is that Ms. Meriwether should not have, she misjudged the situation in moving out. She believed initially to aid her sister, that had she known that things were not the way she perceived them, she may have engaged in a different course of action. And she has expressed remorse to me. I hope she will do that to the court this morning about the entire situation, about placing herself in the position that she's in right now. And she's ready to make amends, Your Honor.
Okay, before I move to your client, didn't we, Miss Rivers looks like I saw, did you all speak to Miss Rivers?
I had a plus sign initially before Ms. Rivers. She left and came back, but I recently got some information that I want to share with her, which is why I didn't put the plus sign on back in front of her name, Judge.
All right. Those who I've just let in the courtroom, please accept to join the breakout room and wait for the lawyers to come in to speak with you. Do not leave the breakout room until you have spoken with a lawyer, and please do not request my assistance in the breakout room. Wait in the breakout room until the lawyers come in to speak with you.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right. All right, would Ms. Meriwether like to address the court?
Yes. I regret my actions. It was totally out of character of me. I've never been in any trouble. I've never been in any fights. It's just a situation to get out of hand. I'm not a violent person. I have never been arrested. This is my first time being in a fight, being in an altercation with anyone. And I'm just, this whole situation is just, it saddens me. It just saddens me because I've never been in trouble before. I've never been arrested before. I've fought 41 years of my life. I've never been arrested. Never had any issues with anyone. It just the situation just got out of hand. And it wasn't, oh, am I muted? No.
No, you're talking. We hear you.
Yeah, this situation, it was just a sad situation because we've been neighbors with her. We've had troubles with her in prior years. We had trouble with her that summer. She had torn down our fence on the left side of our property, and we called the police for that. That's what led up to the whole situation. The whole situation with the incident is she tore down the fence on the left side of our property. So it was a wrought iron fence. She pulled that up out the ground. And so we called the police on her, and the police came out. They really didn't do anything about the situation. So when we saw her on the right side of our property, she lives on the left side of us. She was all the way on the right side of our property that day. And then she started to break off pieces of our wooden property fence. And then she was tying a doggy pads to the fence as well. She had a cat tied to the fence. She had her elderly dog on our grass, and she was breaking off pieces of the fence. And that's what caused my sister to go outside to spray her, tell her to get off the property. And I heard I was yelling from the inside of my home. So I came out to see what the problem was, and that's what my sister and Betty Griffin was in an altercation. My intentions were never to go out there to fight her. That was never my intentions. I was going out there to, if you hear yelling and your family members outside and they're yelling and arguing, naturally you're going to go outside to see what's going on. So I went outside to see what's going on, and my sister sprayed her because she refused to get off the property, and she was saying, "This is not your property. It's not your property, but it is our property because it was always on the right side of our house. The Betty Griffin lives on the left side of the property. She was on the right side all the way to our fence on our property line, and that's where she tied her animals. So it was in fact our property. It wasn't a shared gate at all. Her house is on the left side, and our house is on the right, and she was all the way on the right side of our property. So it is our property. It wasn't a shared space. So it wasn't just like, we just came out there to beat up on an elderly woman. We had problems with her in the past. We've never had any problems with our neighbors before. None of us never have been arrested. None of us never have been in a fight. So it's just it's just a very unusual situation that we find ourselves in, a very unfortunate situation. We're not violent people. We've never been. My sister have never been arrested. My sister have never been in a fight. I have never been arrested in a fight. We mind our business. It just, because of the prior history, that's why it escalated the way it did, because of our prior history. It wasn't that today we decided that we was going to beat up on somebody. It was an escalation. She was actually antagonizing us by putting her animals on our property, because for what happened the first time, but the police didn't do anything about it. She antagonized us by coming on our property and putting her animals on our grass, and tying doggy pads to the fence. So, we're not violent. We're not violent people. I'm not a violent person at all. It's just an unfortunate situation that happened.
Give me. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just regret the whole thing. I am very remorseful. It's embarrassing, and because nothing never has happened like this before. Nothing has never happened to me like this before. I've never been arrested before. I'm just really sad, and I'm just very sad about the situation.
All right. Give me one moment. I need to speak with the judge. Give me one moment. Butts, not on the common property line, but she's coming on this other side. And the law, there are special laws for a group of people, for groups of people. There are special laws. There are laws when adults injure children, and then those are usually and generally child abuse, right? There are those laws. There's a whole set of laws for the protection of children. And then there's a whole additional set of laws for the protection of seniors. And you just don't treat a senior the same way you would treat people in between. So if a person in between is coming on your property, tearing down your fence, you still don't beat them up. That's not what the law says. But it's a different process. It's a different way of handling things. But I can't imagine, as I was sitting here listening to Miss Merriweather, immediately, of course, my elderly neighbor came immediately to my mind. And I just was thinking, what if he started trying to pull up that fence that's in between the property? What if he started tying his animals and came around to the other neighbor's yard and was tying his animals? Or what if he tied his animals right here at the part where we can both, sort of enter and exit our property from this one area? And I was thinking, I would immediately try to get in touch with his children. And I would say, your dad, I don't know what's going on. Your dad is, showing me signs that maybe he's not completely there. Maybe there's, because he's tearing up the fence and he's tying stuff to the fence, right? I really don't want to, have to get the police involved, but, have you all noticed anything about your dad? Like, I literally would contact his family. It would never dawn on me to spray him with water. It would never dawn on me to engage him physically. In fact, I would have to call his family to say, you know, your dad was physical with me. And I had to like just push him away to get away. Your dad was physical and I had to push him away to get away. I hope I didn't hurt him. This is the conversation I'm having with his family if that was to happen. To my no ma'am, it's my turn. It's my
Okay.
turn. I don't want to hear anything else you have to say. That's what I would do with the elderly person that might be clearly exhibiting some signs of mental illness, of dementia, of all of those things. People exhibiting signs of dementia are aggressive. And what they don't need are people under 60 beating them up. What they don't need are people under 60 coming at them with a broom. What they don't need is people start two sisters. And I understand the other person is a defendant. She has not pled guilty. She's not been found guilty. But what they don't need are people attacking them because they're doing things that clearly might be showing that there is some level of mental illness involved. Now, what the charge should have also been is elder abuse. I don't work in the prosecutor's office. As I'm listening, I'm thinking, why did they even negotiate down to this? That's what I'm thinking. When I'm listening, some stuff shouldn't be negotiated. I was watching some case, and the judge asked the prosecutor, are there any offers? The prosecutor said, no, we're not making any offers. We're not reducing this. This got to go to trial. Because there are a group of people that need protection. Those are elderly people, those are mentally ill people, and those are kids. They need protection. So coming in here saying I've never been in trouble, it got out of hand, that says a lot about the person that you really are. And every person has to take an introspective look at what type of person am I really? Because it doesn't matter what type of person you are when the going is going good, when nobody is bothering you. It doesn't matter what type of person you are when a person who when your neighbor is a beautiful neighbor. It doesn't matter what type of person you are, but when your neighbor is not the nicest neighbor, when your neighbor may be exhibiting some signs of some type of mental illness, distress, or just downright mean. If your neighbor is just downright mean and they're a senior citizen, just stay in your house. Call the police, get a camera. Let the family know. Listen, I don't want to have to put your mother in jail. But if she keep doing this stuff right here that's on my camera, I'm going to have to put her in jail because I want the quiet enjoyment of my property. But what we don't do is beat up the people. I remember my mother living in a place, and my mother is hard of hearing, real hard of hearing. That's why I talk so loud. That's why I don't care what people say about how I talk. I don't care. I could care less. They don't know my story. My mother is hard of hearing. She never wore hearing aids until way, way later. So we always talk loud because she needed to be able to hear us. And she wasn't going to admit it was her. So we got to talk loud. And then she moved into a place and she plays her TV so loud because she couldn't hear. And her neighbor upstairs, I don't know if he thought she was doing it on purpose or not, but he started in the middle of the night to get back at her, banging on his floor with something, banging on his floor. And so me and one of my big nephews, we had to go upstairs and let the man know, listen, she's hard of hearing. She's not doing it on purpose. And if you keep banging on that floor, it's going to be a different type of situation. So stop banging on that floor. We're gonna work with her to get the TV lower. We're gonna try to see if we could get her hearing aid adjusted, but you're not gonna keep banging on this floor, scaring our mother and our grandmother. You're not gonna keep doing that. That's somebody's mother, sister, auntie, something. That's wrong on every level. This situation is wrong on every level. Every level. Now, I am glad it does appear, I do believe that Ms. Merriweather has remorse. She sounded sincere to me. But then, even after she sounded sincere to me, it sounded like she went right back to justifying her actions and behavior. I mean, an old person would almost just have to be beating me with getting ready to beat me with a pipe or pulling out a gun on me in order for me to attack a older person. I would really have to feel like my life is in danger. And if I went outside and saw my sister beating up the older person, I'm not going to attack the person. I'm going to grab my sister and say, what the heck is going on here? What are you doing? I don't know if Miss Griffin was in the wrong. I don't know if she tore up your fence. I don't know. But if she tore up your fence, there's a civil remedy for that. If she tore up your fence, then we get, it's snowing. Then we get cameras. If she tore up your fence, if she putting her animals on the fence and the animals are in distress, call animal control. Call the Humane Society. Call somebody. These dogs, these animals, y'all come save the dogs. Come save the animals. Right? Okay. So I've said my piece, but this is horrible. Let me just say that to you. This is horrible. The court is going to impose the following sentence. Ms. Griffin, she asked me to impose the maximum extent of the law. I'm not going to. This is your first offense. I'm not going to put you in jail, but I can guarantee you this: you don't have room to not do this probation. Probation is the alternative to jail. Jail is the alternative to probation. Probation is the alternative to jail. Jail is the alternative to probation. I do have one slight problem with the offer, but I'm gonna all right. The people's offer was 771 if eligible. They had no objection. Probation, even though they put eligible for 771, they recommended 15 months probation. The court is going to do the following. I am going to okay. So the statute indicates that the court cannot delay sentence longer than 12 months. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to accept the recommendation from probation for a 15-month probationary period. However, I'm going to set the matter for review at the halfway point for the 15 months. So that means she wouldn't be eligible for early discharge until 7.5 months. Then if she doesn't make the 7.5 months, we'll set a probation, a review. If she completes the probation within the 12-month period that the law says that the court can delay the sentence, then I'll give her the delayed sentence. If she doesn't complete it in the 12 months, then she doesn't get the delayed sentence. So it's kind of a delayed sentence. So we're going to say delayed if completed within 12 months, but the probationary period is 15 months. And then, so that will put a final review date for May the 15th of 2025. And I'm going to set an interim review for, I'm going to actually set a review in July, so we can see where she is, how she's doing. July 3rd, strike it, July 3rd at 10 o'clock. The following terms and conditions: you shall not violate any criminal law of any governmental unit. You must not leave the state without permission of the court. You must make a truthful report to probation on a monthly basis and notify probation immediately of any change of your address, phone number, or employment status. You will pay $210 mandatory cost, a $100 attorney's fee, a $400 fine, no restitution, supervision fees at a rate of $35 per month. For the 15 months is $525. Of course, it will be prorated depending on when she gets discharged. A $50 pre-sentence investigation fee. You shall not use or possess any illegal substances. No marijuana without a valid medical marijuana card. No opiates without a valid prescription. No driving without a valid driver's license. Absolutely no contact with the complaining witness. Ms. Griffin, that means you can't go on their property, ma'am. You cannot go on their property. "15 weeks of anger management." I'm sorry, 24 weeks, excuse me. "24 weeks of anger management." I was debating with respect to the mental health evaluation, and I'm not going to order it just at this time. I'm not going to order it. I am going to order random urinalysis for the first 3 months. So I'm going to add $30 to the court costs and fees. And if the if there are no positive tests, then probation can on its own stop the testing. She doesn't have to test after 3 months if there are no positive tests. Pay any outstanding tickets with 36th District Court. According to the report, you have none. Clear up any warrants. According to the report, you have none. And the total fines, costs, and fees are $1,315. Of that $1,315. Oh, wait, did I add the 30? Hold on, I'm sorry. Yes, of that, $1,050 and I'm sorry, $1,053 would need to be paid at that by the halfway point to get discharged. And again, if she finishes within the 12 months, then the court will delay the sentence and dismiss the matter off of her record. We will mail a copy of this order to the Devonshire address, and probation will contact you at the phone number ending in 7701. Anything further?
Judge, thank you.
Nothing on behalf of Ms. Meriwether. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Why I can't hear you? But because I had the whole thing on mute. I'm glad y'all wasn't trying to say nothing to me. All right. Ms. Stevenson, anything further?
Nothing on behalf of Ms. Meriwether. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Ms. Ritter?
Nothing from the people, Judge, thank you.
All right, then we're all set. Have a great day and stay safe.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank God tonight's over. Have a good one.